Ah, welcome back to the Shark Scale. Now, today's movie is a requested one. We got Sharks in Venice. Yep, we're being pretty specific here, and there's sharks in Venice. Let's look right at it.
Want to know, not from John, but do you guys watch the movies because you actually like it or because John likes it?
Sharks in Venice obviously takes place in Venice. Well, here in the Venice canals, we see a couple of divers looking for treasure somewhere in the waters. After looking around, our favorite friend in the sea, or the canals, shows up for a couple bites and ends up eating everyone. We then go to San Francisco where we see a teacher and his fiance get notified that one of the people killed in that attack was his dad, or at the very least, his dad has gone missing. So our main guy and fiance head up to Venice to go investigate. Well, they end up getting involved in this plot by the mob who want to find that treasure. Then somewhere there is more sharks in it. The plot of this movie feels like they saw National Treasure, maybe Indiana Jones, and just tried to create their own version of it and make it nowhere near as good. I mean, don't get me wrong, the story, it is what it is, but it's not absolutely awful, even compared to these other shark movies, but it's not very good either. Our main character just kind of sucks. His fiance, she's alright. And the main villain is just kind of generic. In fact, most of the story is just generic, and they don't even really properly take advantage of the fact that it's in Venice, like, at all. They don't take advantage of the setting, really, or do anything cool with it. I felt probably because they didn't have a real budget for Venice. It also is really not a shark movie, rather it's a movie with sharks in it, because the sharks are not the focal point at all, and it becomes way more about this stupid treasure than the sharks. There's just way too much drama, honestly, between all the characters, and while there should be a little, at least to an extent, it's just overkill. At least I only found like one or two plot holes, which is pretty good considering the kind of movie this is, but really, too much people, not enough shark. Speaking of how often the sharks are on screen in this movie, it's pretty bad. There's maybe 10-15 seconds at the beginning of the movie, a clip or two or three in the middle of the movie, and then probably another 30 or 40 seconds towards the end. It's not good. The sharks are barely on screen. They show up really inconsistently, and the impact they leave is just non-existent. But now I get into the real issue of the sharks showing up, which is that 9 times out of 10 when they do show up, it's very generic, stock, B-roll footage of sharks. Not only that, but it's the exact same B-roll footage that's in Shark Zone, that's in Shark Attack 2, Shark Attack 3, Raging Sharks, maybe even Shark Attack 1. I'm not kidding. They use the exact same B-roll footage I've seen so many times now. This movie came out in 2008, and this B-roll footage was going on 6 or 7 years old at this point. And you can really tell because the quality's not as good as the rest of the movie. Not only do they reuse really old B-roll footage of the shark attacks, they reuse it multiple times in the same movie. Like, you see the same couple clips of the shark over and over and over throughout the movie. There's one with a shark that bumps the camera, there's one with the shark chowing down, and you see this probably 3 or 4 times throughout the movie. I'm not even exaggerating. This isn't just a problem that's exclusive to the shark, but I'll go over that in a few minutes. So not only is it B-roll footage that I've seen before multiple times in multiple movies, but they make me watch it a couple times in this movie alone. It's ridiculous. It's beyond lazy, and it's like they aren't even trying. There are like 2 or 3 times where the shark does show up and it's not B-roll footage, and I would have rather had the movie have more of these moments since they're new to me, and not the same crap I've been watching for years, but these are pretty bad too, as the shark shows up for actually 1 second. It looks absolutely awful for 2008 and then disappears. There's nothing of substance here, and in terms of judging the kills in this movie, I can only judge these ones because the other kills, are the same kills I've watched a dozen times. Those are good, but it's like they're not new, and this is like the 5th time or whatever I've seen them in a movie, so it's like, forget them. And so I'm just going to look at the original ones. And these original ones that show up, they're not good either. And it's funny how bad they are, but I will literally say the shark just actually grabs them up. It's so stupid. I'm honestly having trouble even talking about the sharks in the movie and the shark kills in this movie because they're all so extremely quick, low quality, and very low effort, if it's not that crap B-roll footage. So I'm just going to say it isn't anything you haven't seen before a million times and move on. The next part of the movie that's worth talking about is the acting, which is not as bad or cheesy as other bad cheesy shark movies, but it's still pretty mediocre. The main character is pretty mediocre. He whispers everywhere. His fiancée is just kind of there, and the main antagonist, he's there also, and the goons are just bad. The main character really just doesn't get his point across very well. Again, he whispers for little to no reason. Everyone was just really nothing of note. There's not anyone deep or interesting or anything, really. There's just not much to say here. It's mediocre, it's bland, generic, uninspired. I'm not going down that list again. I just couldn't care less about everything going on, and there's just too much acting. Nobody takes these sharks like seriously at all. It's really what you hate to see in a movie like this. In fact, this movie as a whole is just kind of what you hate to see. As the movie just sucks. It sucks on a number of levels. The plot is boring. There's barely any sharks in the movie. When they do show up, it's the same B-roll footage over and over. The kills that are actually new are just lame. The acting is yawn-inducing. The movie loves to repeat a couple scenes over and over. Like near the end of the movie, they legitimately just repeat the same scenes over and over from different angles and mirrored. And it's like, really? It's like the movie is actually padded out for no reason. There's no sharks for the most part. It's really just a movie that happens to have some sharks in it rather than be about the sharks. Even though sharks are in the title of the movie, there's nothing left to say about the movie. Usually I can make an unfunny joke or talk mad crap about a movie like this or talk about plot holes or something, but not with this movie. There's just nothing of substance here. There's nothing worth explaining. There's just nothing here. Why was this movie requested? I have no idea. And to the person who requested it, I'm sorry. Didn't like the movie, not at all. And found basically nothing good with it. Like, actually. I was having a hard time finding anything even good with it. And that's why on the shark scale, it gets a 1 out of 5 and is shark crap. There's just nothing here. And it's like, there's really just nothing here. It's even on YouTube. Like, that's how little anybody cares about it. The whole movie's on YouTube. I can put a link in the description, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's a waste of time, and it's a waste of time even to a sharkaholic. What a waste. But I swear, if I have to see that B-roll footage again in another movie, I'm gonna flip some shit, because I'm lazy. I'm sick of this lazy crap, and like, I just want something different. So nobody better be requesting another movie with this B-roll footage, or you'll never hear the end of it. Have a good Christmas.